Hey guys, so I just want to talk to you briefly about the Sana manuscript. So it seems like, let me just give you a quick introduction for those who don't know. So the Sana manuscript is a palimpsest. So basically, in the olden times, sometimes people would write on, papyrus or on parchment, which is like dry animal skin. So it's very rare and hard to get and expensive. And so they would write on it, and sometimes they would scratch off what they wrote in order to write on it again, like erasing a whiteboard. So the Sana manuscript is a really big deal because what it shows is there's two layers of text. When you put it under certain light, you can see that there's the text that you can see, and then you can see what was scratched off. So there's the lower layer and the upper layer. And what's incredible is the lower layer is very different than the upper layer. And the lower layer is pre-Uthmanic, right? So Muslim standard narrative, Muhammad comes, Angel Gabriel comes in the cave, gives him the Quran. He teaches it to his companions. Then Abu Bakr collects the Quran. And then, after 20 or so years, Uthman says we need to standardize the Quran. People are reciting it in different ways. So he burns all the other copies of the Quran and makes one standard Quran. He gets one standard Quran and burns everything else. And so ever since then, we have a very relatively stable Quranic text, the Uthmanic text. And all these ahruf and variants are kind of more or less very connected and very much based on this one Uthmanic text. But the problem is, right, one of the big questions is, wait, now we have the Sana manuscript. This is a manuscript that comes before Uthman. This is a pre-Uthmanic text, or at least at the same time as Uthman, right? And it's very different. It's very different from Uthman. And so now you have Muslim apologists trying to explain why the Sana text is so different. Like, how can you say there's been one Quran for all time when you have this evidence that there is a very different Quran? So that's what Muslim apologists are having to deal with. And so Muhammad Hijab, in his 2-hour video where he screams at people for being weaklings and watching too much Netflix, he says that it doesn't matter. The Sana manuscript doesn't matter. You can find manuscripts that are super different, and it doesn't matter because they're all ahruf. They're all revealed from Allah, and Allah chose to allow those to be destroyed. And so we don't need those anymore. They were extra. So we can call this the extra ahruf, or Allah's extras stance. Basically, it doesn't matter. They're just extras. Who cares? Sana manuscript as variants, whatever. Allah decided to abrogate those. Those are, He chose not to let those be. And I mean, that's one way you could look at it. But I think from a skeptical or even from a Muslim perspective, you ask yourself, like, wait, but if this is so different and it doesn't matter, then could we also have the Sana text? Like, could that be the Quran and it would be the same? But there are differences about these different things, and different people have shown some of those differences, and we could talk about that more later. But the point is, when you look at these significant differences, it's like, okay, well, so they both could have been the Quran. It doesn't really matter. Is this really true, or are you just kind of retroactively trying to make up an excuse for why there are different versions of the Quran and variants? Then you have Mansour and Farid, who tweeted just like yesterday, I think, this really interesting theory is in Arabic, but the summary, according to them, is that the Sana manuscript might have been written, the lower manuscript might have been written by a guy with bad memory and a guy who relied on bad recitations. So literally they're going after this guy for his memory and saying, like, he had bad memory, and immediately Haytham, who's a Quran scholar, was like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this. But yeah, it's so interesting. So you have Allah's extras, you have bad memory guy, and just all these different theories for why the Sana manuscript is so different. And another thing that we should note is this is all Sunni, right? So the Shiites, they are very critical of the Sunni narrative, and they say, actually, according to the Sunni narrative, you guys have burned up to 6/7 of the Quran, because they don't buy this whole idea of Allah's extras and stuff. And you can see that on this channel, on some of the videos with the guy who's a Shiite and his criticisms of the Sunni standard narrative. So I just wanted to make this quick video. I know we throw around these words a lot, like Sana manuscript and stuff, and I just wanted to show you what exactly is the problem. So again, the problem is you have a pre-Uthmanic, or at least contemporary with Uthmanic manuscript that's very different than the Uthmanic, there's significant differences, right? Much more than later manuscripts that are kind of constrained by the Uthmanic text. And the question is, why is this? And this is only one thing, guys. Like, imagine as we find more manuscripts, imagine as the manuscripts that haven't been unearthed and haven't been studied are being studied. I think there's Martin van Putten, who said himself, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just in libraries in MENA, in Middle East, North Africa, in these places around the world that just haven't been examined. And as that happens, we're going to see a lot more come out. So hashtag QuranGate forever. Let's keep asking questions. Let's keep getting clarity. And I'm so interested to see how Muslim apologists deal with this question. Okay, bye guys.